Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sulekha Sen and I'm back with one of my thrilling stories. So this is a story that I've actually come across. I haven't actually written it, but I found it really interesting and thrilling and I wanted you guys to know about it. So let's get started. So this is a story about a guy that worked in multiple mobile stores. So this guy would go from one store to the other store and would do some menial jobs. He didn't really have a permanent job, but he would work for each and every one, would run some errands here and there and earn money from here and there, right? So he was friendly with each and every one of those shop owners. So once what happened is he went on his regular day. He went from one shop to the other, from the other to the other. So all these shop owners were actually his friends by now. They would all hang out together. They would have like lunch together and that kind of a thing, right? So now what happens is he goes on his regular day, goes from one shop to the other, and then he meets around 2 to 3 shop owners, talks to them, has a cup of tea with them, and then moves on with his day. And so he had to go to another shop at this point. So he started walking, and when he reached that shop, he actually needed to use the restroom. So at this point, instead of actually going to that shop, he thought, let me look for a restroom nearby. So the restroom that he would use on a regular basis was kind of far away from the place where he was right now. Okay, so he thought, you know what, let me just go to the mall that's right across the street and let me just use the washroom there. It'll be more convenient because I really need to use the restroom right now. So what happens is he crosses the road and goes to the mall. He asks permission from the security guard there, and the security guard says, you know what, you can use the one in the basement, the parking area, right? So he says, thank you so much, and starts walking. He walks down the basement, goes to the washroom, and he goes there, right? So now what happens is the shop that he was supposed to go to, the third shop of the day that he had to go to, he did not arrive there in time. So this person was kind of worried and angry, slightly angry, because he needed some work to get done and it required that guy to be there. But he wasn't there. And he was kind of worried and he was attending some phone calls like, वो लड़का अभी नहीं आया है. As soon as he comes here, I'll get your things delivered and all kinds of stuff, right? He had an argument with someone over the call. So now he tries to call the guy that, "Bhai, where are you? Just come fast because I need some work to get done." But he does not receive the call because he's in the mall. He went for a pee, right? So the third shop owner was calling him constantly, but he did not receive the call. So he thought, you know what, sometimes you know how it happens, right? Some people just move out of the work, just take a leave on that day and never inform anyone, because he didn't have a permanent job, right? It was just something that he did as a part-time. So he thought, you know what, he's not taking this job seriously. Fine, let it be. So he did not pay much heed and he called the person he had an argument with that, you know what, I'll deliver it to you tomorrow. आज नहीं हो पाएगा because लड़का है नहीं अभी और वो पता नहीं कहाँ है, तो मैं आपको कल ही deliver कर पाऊंगा. So the person on the other side of the call said, okay, fine. He agreed to it and said, fine. So now what happens is, nobody really cares. All the other shop owners met for a cup of chai in the evening and were discussing कहाँ चला गया वो, आज आया ही नहीं. But then the other 2 shop owners said, नहीं हमने तो देखा, we saw him, he was in our shop and we met him before around 10-11 o'clock. We saw him and he came and he did his work. So now the third one was like, but I didn't see him. I had some work to get done and I told him specifically that you have to be here, but he did not come. So anyways, they had their chai and left for home, and some left for work, some left for their homes. So now comes the second day. And the second day, as I've said, he goes to every shop every day. Okay, but this time he didn't even go to the first shop. And now the first shop owner is also like, yeah, mere shop mein bhi nahi aaya. Is he fine? Is he sick or something? But as you know, he was just somebody they were friends with. His hometown was somewhere else. He was just staying in a PG over there. So nobody really had his house contact number. They did not have his point of contact All they had was his phone number. So they tried calling him and he did not pick up. So they left it. They're like, ठीक है, maybe he's not feeling well, so let's leave it. It's okay. So now what happens is they go about their day and everybody again meets for a cup of tea and says, पता नहीं यार कहाँ चला गया. He didn't come to my shop also today. And everybody was like, yeah, मेरे दुकान में भी नहीं आया. So everybody went on, discussed, yeah, they were joking about him, how he is and how he's like, fun loving, but he's a bit dumb, and all those kind of topics like you do behind someone's back, right? Just in a friendly way, they were making fun of him and stuff. So then what happens? They again go to their works, respective places, respective shops, and everything's done. Now the third day passes, then the fourth day passes, and he does not show up. So now they got kind of worried because he's not picking up the call. Nobody knows where he is because the phone is ringing and nobody's picking up the call, and they were kind of worried at this point. So one of the shop owners said, you know what, I know where he stays. So let me just go and ask in his PG that is he okay or not, because uske koi friends nahi hai is jagah pe, with the only people he actually is close to. So you know what, let me just go to the PG and ask the PG owner that is he fine and is he in the PG. So now this person goes to the PG and asks about him, and the owner says nahi wo to 4-5 दिन से वापस आया ही नहीं PG. And the person was shocked, the friend was shocked कि अरे घर नहीं, PG नहीं आया, काम पे नहीं आया, he has nowhere else to go. Where would he go if he's not in these two places? So now they got kind of worried, and then this person went back and discussed this with the other shop owners that यार ये तो PG भी नहीं गया, ये तो मतलब यहाँ भी नहीं आ रहा है, PG भी नहीं जा रहा है, कहाँ गया? So now what happens is they're worried. They're like, यार मेरे दुकान में तो. Then they start contemplating like what might have happened. Did something happen to him? Like now the bad thoughts started coming. That where did he go? Someone must have done something to him, or something must have happened. They were thinking of the worst possible scenarios. So the first shop owner said, yeah, he came to my place and he was okay. Then the second owner said, yeah, he came to my place also and he was pretty fine, like nothing wrong, everything was fine. And then he said, between that time, where did he go? So now they started asking in that area, like, did you see him? Did you see him? Did you see him? Then they went across the street. Now they asked the security guard that, did you see this guy? They showed the picture on the phone and said, did you see this guy? And he said, हाँ मैंने तो इसको 4-5 दिन पहले बेसमेंट में जाते हुए देखा, बट उसके बाद पता नहीं, मैंने उसको बाहर निकलते हुए देखा नहीं, मुझे लगा कि चला गया होगा, मुझे नहीं पता. तो they got worried. They're like, चल, they know that he won't be there, obviously, like it's been 3-4 days, what would he be doing there, right? But they were like, chalo, at least we'll give it a shot, we'll just go check, right? So they go and they go to the basement to check, and they were opening all the washrooms. Now what happens is they were pushing the door to check if he's inside. So they pushed the first door, they pushed the second door, and when they pushed the third door, it felt as if there was something behind the door because they couldn't push it open. Then they forced it, and this guy who is missing fell. Okay, and he didn't fell on his face, he fell on his back. Means when he went inside the washroom, he was trying to close the door, he was trying to latch it. That's when something must have happened. So practically he's been standing for these 4-5 days. He did not sit, he did not actually pee, he's been standing that way. Either he peed and he was about to open the door and something happened, or when he went and tried to lock the door, that's when something happened. Nobody knows what has happened, okay, at this point. So and he falls, okay, he falls to the toilet seat and he's saying, help, hospital, help, hospital. These are the only 2 words that they could understand. So he was talking, he was like, help, hospital. So they thought, okay, his condition is worse, but he's still alive, so let us take him to the doctor. So now there were 4 people that had come to check if he was there. So 2 of them caught him from one side, the other caught him from the back, and the third person was trying to hold him from the waist, okay. And when he tried to hold it, he felt it was too soft. You get it? Like as if your hand would get inside the tummy. Like you could almost touch everything inside. Like it didn't go in, but it was too soft to feel. Like as if like it's not normal. It's like your हाथ अंदर जा सकता है इतना soft था वो. It was like that. Like you could put your hands inside. He just pulled his hand out like shit. What was that? It was creepy, right? Like imagine you touching something gooey and weird in a human body. You'd obviously feel weirded out, right? So he got weirded out and he took out his hand. And then he didn't think much of it, okay? He's like, chal. He didn't say it to anyone also. He was like, ठीक है, chal. Because it was a moment of panic, right? Nobody was thinking straight. Like, chalo, doctor ke paas leke chalo. They called, someone got their personal vehicle and they took, because the ambulance was not coming. They called, but it wasn't coming. It couldn't reach on time because of the traffic. Okay. So now what happens is, this people took him to the hospital. And after he was taken to the hospital, the doctor checked his body and said he's brought in dead. Like the moment he came in, declared him dead. Like he wasn't alive. So he was practically, he died on the way. So now the postmortem happened. Like what has happened, what has not happened and stuff, right? So now the doctor comes to them like after a few days. Like everything was done, postmortem was done. Now they were informed that all his organs were actually burnt. They were burnt. And that he had not died that day. He had died 4 days back. And this scared the shit out of the fourth guy. Because he actually felt something. He felt that weird touch in his body, right? Like it was too soft, like it wasn't a human body, it wasn't hard, it was soft, and he remembered those things. And all the 4 of them were scared to death because they heard him talk. He was actually talking. He was saying, he was asking for help. Who was talking to these 4 people? If he died 3 days back and he didn't die the day they actually got him to the hospital, then who was it? And his body wasn't decaying. It was, you know how a 3-day-old body would be, right? Like it wouldn't be fresh, it would start smelling, there would be a rotten smell in it. But there was nothing of that sort. Even the doctor was kind of shocked, but he didn't think much of it. But they knew that something was up because they heard him talk. All the 4 of them at the same time heard him talk. And after that, in that mall, they have done a puja, but the pandit was like, you know what, I'm doing this puja, but nothing can really be done here because it's too much. There are too many entities here. And after that, people stopped going to that basement and they never parked their cars over there. And even the owners had put CCTV cameras there, but you won't believe, the cameras never captured anything. Like never. Most of the time you would see that the camera is turned in a different direction, or some of the cameras are broken, although nobody goes there. Then how is it broken? And if a guy would go there, like if a human being would go there, other cameras would capture it, no? None of the cameras capture it. It just breaks on its own suddenly and it never captures anything. All those sorts of weird things happen. And honestly now, the people in the local people there never go to this mall. They never do. This mall is kind of weird now. It's very shabby looking and like not very good brands are there, and only the ones who come to visit, like go for a vacation there, they visit this mall and they go there because they don't know the story. But the ones who actually stay there, they never go to that mall. Like never. They do not step into it. That's the end of the story, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you liked the story. If you did, please like, share and subscribe so that I can get more such thrilling and amazing stories for you. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.